Welcome back to StitchPhiles. I'm your co-host, Brandon.
I am Bob.
And Sarah is behind the camera. She graciously volunteered her spot.
I miss her already.
I know.
She was our
special guest.
A good girl.
She was, I know.
She will be missed.
Yeah,
R.I.P. R.I.P. Sarah. We're doing a GoFundMe.
For Sarah?
Yeah, for Sarah.
For Sarah.
Yeah. To buy her a microphone.
All right, so if you haven't noticed, if you're watching this, we're joined by John Coon again, wonderful guest, and then his superior, Mr. Scott Marshall.
Wow.
Yeah, Scott.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I take that beautifully. He is my mentor,
He's
my Jedi master.
And you are the mentee, or the manatee.
No, Padawan. Remember,
Okay.
I love Star Wars.
Young
So we're
Padawan.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
But I'm more of a Jedi Knight now. You know, nowhere near as a mess up as I used to be.
Good.
So that's the fun part.
Yeah. So Scott, give us a little introduction about your history. Take us back to birth all the way to
Okay.
present day, if you would, please.
Well, I started off in the military, in the Navy, and got my basic electronics background there, and was working on office equipment. Remember the old typewriter with the ball, the selectric typewriter?
Mm-hmm.
I could fix those things inside and out.
I've seen them.
And from there, I kind of sat back and said, there's got to be something else out there to fix. And I answered an ad one day, back when we had printed classified ads for jobs. And,
The newspaper.
the newspaper. And it was for McPherson Meistergram. And
I've heard of them.
had no idea what these machines did with the colored string, but they offered me the job. I actually took a pay cut, but I saw a future, and I took the job and started basically learning the equipment. And John can testify to this, that it took a while. You've got to learn theory on the equipment, on how to fix them, and I've emphasized that with John so many times. He used to get so mad with me. He says, once you figure the theory out, it gets easier. So I was doing that for quite a while, and at one point I was installing a lot of machines, and I kept seeing all these customers. I'd go install a machine, and they'd have a couple months later, I'd go install another one, and then another one, and I'd be looking in, they'd be driving Mercedes and BMWs, and I'm like, hey, there's something into this business here. So I had a customer that bought a 6-head cap machine, one of the very first profit machines, and after about a year, he just decided this just wasn't the route he wanted to go. He had other ambitions, and I bought the machine off of him. And I put it in my garage. I had a single-car garage condo.
Oh, man.
And I had this machine in my garage, and I was still doing tech work. I was going out and doing service calls, but this was at the beginning of the cap systems. And so people would go out and say, man, I wish I could get caps. I can't do caps, turn cap jobs down. I'm like, I could do that. So I'd take their caps home and run them on the weekends, and then ship them back or take them back. So I was doing that for quite a while. And at one point, I was doing more embroidery and caps than I was doing service calls, and so I ended up leaving McPherson and opening my own embroidery business. And I built that up from that first 6-head to I had 2 12-heads, 2 6-heads, a 2-head, a single head, 2 digitizers, 14 employees, and this was all in Southern California. And it just got to the point where my wife was from North Carolina, and we just like, we got to do something else. We wanted to get out of California, basically. So sold the business, sold my house, moved to Atlanta, and at that point I was out job hunting, and nobody would hire me. I couldn't get a job because everybody was like, finally somebody said, we're afraid of you, because it was 2 years before the Olympics in Atlanta, and they were all saying, you know this industry, we're afraid you're going to come in, take our customers, and start over again.
Oh, wow.
And
I thought they were afraid of your intimidating
Oh,
Your intimidating
That's it,
demeanor,
my-
your
I'm
physical
glad you
prowess.
explained that because I didn't have a clue.
So, and I was like, no, I don't want to do this. I want to start a family. I want to be home at night. And it was like, so finally I had one customer tell me that there was, one of the competitors was looking for a text. And this was back in the days when we had just fax machines. So she sat and faxed my resume over to the company. Next day I get a phone call. They want to talk to me. Next day I have an airline ticket for that Sunday night. And so I fly to their home office. I leave, don't really know if I'm going to get the job, but that weekend I had to fly back to California because my grandfather passed away. I get off the plane and my dad hands me this phone number and says, these people want to hire you, because that was the contact number I gave them.
Oh, wow.
So we went back and forth, talked a lot, and I said, well, here's the thing. I want to start a family. I don't want to travel, as I don't want to be like out Monday, home Friday. And they said, oh, no problem. We're going to keep you local. You won't be traveling. The following year, the 1 year date later, I was platinum medallion on Delta Airlines. So that was my traveling point. So
That's where you get a plane, right? They actually get
Yeah,
you a plane.
You get to fly it. Like when the pilot has to go pee. They let
This
you
is your
get a-
pilot, Scott Marshall speaking.
So I did
Scott, come up
that.
here and take over. I got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Was doing that for a while, and then I had a large customer was wanting to get into the embroidery industry, and they lured me away and as a contractor for 90 days to set up their shop. And the whole time I was doing that, I was like, if I do that, I want to go back and do tech work, because I was doing local stuff. And so I set them up, got it going. They wanted me to stay, but I didn't want to do it. And my wife and I, we sat down one day and we created a flyer. And it was, I can't even tell you the hours, but it was like independent embroidery technician work. We mailed one out to every person in the state of Georgia that had an embroidery machine that I could work on. And the next week we made a flyer and we addressed all the ones for South Carolina. And I think about 5 years ago we threw those away.
Really?
Yeah, we did the mailing for Georgia, and it just took off, and we never looked back. And in 2005, Barudan called me back and said, "Hey, would you be interested in contracting for us?" And doing that ever since. Hired John about 7 years ago, and I've been at it 33 years, starting the Monday after Thanksgiving. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah,
So,
that's a good story.
and I've seen it all. I've seen a lot of it, man. I've seen.
The things I've seen, I can't talk about.
I have seen so much in this industry, and I can do just about everything. I just can't. I personally don't have the patience to sit down with the digitizing part of it.
Yeah.
And customers always ask. I grew up in the Tinker Toys erector set era. John grew up with the computers. I always joke about it. I say he grew up with laptops and Nintendo.
No shame in my game.
So
Me
when we
either,
get a lot of our calls, customers, when we get into the networking and stuff, John's stronger point than me. But from a mechanical standpoint, I'm still, and I know the older equipment. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I'm getting to the point now where I'm like, okay, it's time to sit back. Kind of back.
Yep, Scott has
reap the
a
rewards.
retirement plan that will
not
never
working.
come to fruition.
It's not working.
I think I was supposed to be the retirement plan, but instead I'm creating more work.
Yeah, it's like, John broke this, Scott come fix it. No.
So, but
You guys are, and I've said it before, but you guys are, I appreciate both of you. You guys are a great asset to me, especially, being in my area, and I'm eternally grateful. And I appreciate you being on the show. I know we approached you about it. As long as you've got John.
as long as I got
I think we'll-
support on each side
that's
of me,
right.
I'm okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks for being
I
on
need the
here.
Marine to pick me up and keep it going.
We all do. We all
Every
need
sailor needs a good Marine.
I'm glad you guys are separated across the table from one another.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're watching this, you may notice that we've upgraded our studio to a giant
great big building.
convention center. So we're here in Charlotte at the GPX show, the Graphics Pro Expo. I had to look at the sign.
I'm glad you knew.
Oh, I thought that was an intro. Like this graphics pro. Oh, yeah, I thought you were getting creative there.
No, I was like,
kind of like
where's the sign? Yeah, GPX shows.
It used to be the NBM show. It used to be the National Business Media Show. And last year, I'm looking at Sarah. Last year they changed it, right? Or for this year. This is the first year of the GPX, correct?
I think it should have been last year.
Yeah,
Oh,
some
that's
things
right.
happened
that
though.
Little,
yeah.
That little C word kind of screwed everything up.
I think if you go on the website, it has.
Oh, okay.
If you go on the website, it says one versus the other. You search for one, you get the other, and
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
what? Is there two shows?
Yeah, it's like and if you go on the GPX show, it's like the show formerly known as
Prince.
As Prince, yeah. God rest his
That's the
soul.
first thing that pops into my head.
Yeah, the artist formerly known as GPX. Okay. So we want to do a podcast here at the show and, again, get Scott on. John was so gracious enough to be on again. And, we had the Tech Talk show that we did got some very good.
Really good.
Really good
I got
feedback.
a lot of new contacts from that one. A lot of people
awesome.
reached out to me through my Facebook and both the work side and the private side, and just keep the questions coming if you have them.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
And,
I get bored, and then my wife gets irritated because she doesn't like when I'm bored.
Idle hands are the devil's playground.
Yeah.
I heard
Amen.
that, right? Yeah.
Amen.
So, we thought we'd do just a kind of a brief recap of what's today? Friday's show. Yeah. So today's the last day of the GPX show. It was a pretty good turnout yesterday, I thought, especially we are like at the entrance, so we got bombarded like as soon as the doors opened. But it was a pretty steady flow of people with good questions and seemed very interested in possibly moving forward with embroidery. I know that a lot of people I talk to are these individuals who, they have a screen printing shop or they're doing promotional work and want to get into embroidery instead of outsourcing it.
This show tends to be geared more toward printing.
Yeah.
Sublimation. It's not really an embroidery show. It is, but not all of the embroidery companies are here. There's 4 or 5 of them missing, but the best one is here, and that's all that matters. So.
Oh yeah.
So Scott, when's the last time you went to a show? I mean, you used to go to the Bobbin Show.
Went to the Bobbin Show, the Super Show in Atlanta, which was an act of Congress to get into. I think the last show I took John when he first started, we went to the Nashville.
The ISS show.
The ISS?
They had
in 2015, March of 2015.
They had an ISS show in Nashville. I think just 1 or 2 years. And
it's probably been 5 or 6 since I went to that one.
Was it in the new convention center?
It was.
Okay, it was ISS.
Yeah. And then my very first show I went to was in Long Beach in 1989.
Yeah.
And that was in the days where it took over the whole convention center, the whole Coliseum, and the halls in between.
Wow.
And you were on a waiting list to be an exhibitor if you wanted to be an exhibitor.
Did you ever go to Super Show in Atlanta? Remember the Super Show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
I was
And,
preoccupied looking at something else.
that was the sporting goods one, right? Or
Nike, Adidas.
I went to that. I went to that.
That was
Hey, when he was a kid.
Yeah, when I was a
brother
kid, I went to
went.
That was very.
Super Show.
If you didn't have the right credentials, you didn't get in.
Man, we had 1,000 square foot, maybe 1,200 square foot booth there, and we were one of the smaller booths
that's
at that
crazy.
show. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But if you remember, it was it took up the entire World Congress Center.
Yep.
1 year it took up the Congress Center plus the Georgia Dome.
Yep.
And then they had tents
Yep.
outside. It was crazy.
massive.
And they had these big parties by invitation only, and there was always celebrities there, sports celebrities, sports figures, sports players.
we know what they do.
Well, no,
They throw balls.
The Braves would come there. One year there we had the. I don't know. Maybe that was a Bobbin show. We had the Atlanta Falcons cheerleaders on our booth. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
What has happened? How come this doesn't happen now? Where's the Charlotte Hornet cheerleaders when you need them?
They were preoccupied.
That show one time, we used to run hats on the 12 heads.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
just constantly running hats all day. And I remember the commissioner of baseball was there, and he's standing there watching, and I hand him a hat. And we had it's like everybody stood in line to get the hats.
Just get in line for your
Here's
hat.
your Barudan hat. He puts the hat on, and I see him walking around the whole show with his Barudan hat on.
Man, that's cool. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Those shows. I mean, they were very tiring because you had to go in a week ahead of time to set up all the equipment, and I mean, we were always there. Well, Bobbin's show, we were there for 2 straight weeks solid. Super show, we were there for about 8 days, probably setting it up. But yeah, I don't miss setting up all that equipment. This is more manageable.
And the breakdowns at the end when you gotta like find that right guy forklift driver that's like, hey, come over here.
Yeah, I'll slide you. How does a fresh George Washington sound?
Well, used to be a hat and a shirt would work, and then finally somebody started giving them money, and it's oh, man.
That'll get you quicker to the loadout line. So, John, how many shows have you been to?
This will be my second one.
Okay. So that Nashville show, and then
that was the first one.
Okay.
That one was just an eye opener for me because I was still very green in the industry. Literally started November of 2014, and now here we are, March of 2015, or somewhere. It was in 2015. So, just learning everything, and I started to meet all the people that Scott's known for everything. That's the first time I met Bob real briefly. Got to meet Steve Murray. I want to say Earl was there, but I don't remember. You know, it's just one of those, so many people, it's hard to maintain everybody that I was actually talking to. So it was surprising for Scott to explain to me later on that it was not the biggest show. And I'm sitting there going, it's
how
massive.
Does it get bigger, right?
You know, it was massive. He goes, well, they've been bigger. I'm like, how in the world could it be even bigger? So, which he told me some of the stories and stuff like that of, you know, what the shows were like, what he was just explaining now, and then something about the after shows.
After party.
Yeah, well, no, he called them after shows. You know, the mingling afterwards, he says, was something that was very
Did he use
popular.
the words, it was lit?
No.
Okay.
No.
You ever said that before, Scott?
No, that's no. My boys will say stuff like that.
Yeah.
But no.
But this show,
when Scott and I talk about lit, we're talking about a light bulb. I don't know what you guys are referring to.
I don't know either. The kids say it.
but no, this show, I mean, granted, we have absolute, I mean, right there is the entrance. When you walk in, it's literally Barudan. You see us. So we apologize for everyone that watched this and that came to the show. Sorry, we were right there in your face right off the bat. But this show, we just, all the traffic coming through, it was nonstop. I mean, I talked to multiple people regarding, you know, the Barudan machine, you know, my years of, you know, wonderful experience, all my matchful experience working on them and stuff like that, you know, just figuring out what is it people are actually looking for, you know, and most of the people I did talk to, they've never touched an embroidery because it's intimidating them.
Exactly. I've heard they're
watching
or 4 people said that.
They're watching the cap sew out and they're going, oh my gosh, that is so scary. And I said, well, this is my favorite.
Sure they weren't talking about you?
No, I definitely know that.
No, they said, oh my gosh, that's so hairy.
Okay.
It's glorious. The red is coming through.
All right.
But yeah, no, they were very, very much intimidated by the machines themselves. But after, you know, 5-10 minutes of explaining each function and how it works and stuff like that, you know, you never know. They may go and venture out into the embroidery world now and vice just doing a vinyl or a screen print. They may actually step into it, which is, you know, that's what my goal is here, is just to get people introduced to the environment of embroidery, you know, expand it out.
There were several people, like you said, that came by and were like, you know, I've thought about embroidery, but I'm intimidated by it. And I think when they can see the machine, especially talk to you guys about the technical aspect of it, like, it's very helpful. And maybe kind of eases some of those butterflies of jumping into embroidery.
Because they don't believe anything we say.
No, it's like you're trying to sell me something.
You're this evil salesman.
Yeah.
You know, they trust the techs.
Well, this is the number one. My opening line was, listen, I know I'm standing here in front of Barudan, but I am not a Barudan employee.
Right.
I'm a contractor who was invited by them to come and just talk about the machines. So, and that...
Did we invite him?
He invited
He
himself.
signed himself. I did too. I was like, if you're going, I'm going.
We were out of cards to send you your invitation, so we...
Well, you know, I'm just sitting at home eating bonbons, watching Days of Our Lives or something like that. You know, there's nothing... No, I'm kidding. You know, we're extremely busy, but no, I had to stop and take the time to come out here because these experiences... They help grow both the individual and also you get to meet new awesome people.
Absolutely.
Networking, seeing the competition too. I always look see what they're doing, and I don't know much about printing, but to see some of these, I know the printer people will come look at the embroidery machines, and the printer people. That sounded derogatory. I didn't mean that. They're printer people. They come over here looking at our stuff, but they come over and they're intrigued by the embroidery machines, and I'm intrigued about what they do.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Scott and I have been doing this a long time. But
Everybody take a shot.
You see the same people at shows.
Yes.
Which is good.
Yeah.
And we always have customers come up and you know, they're nice because they're happy with their Barudan. They're not telling us, hey, you sold us a piece of junk. So
Yeah.
Well, we got to see some customers yesterday that I hadn't met yet that we've sold machines to, because with COVID, travel's been curtailed a little bit. But yeah, I saw several customers yesterday that had bought machines and had.
I talked to a couple yesterday that already had machines that wanted to see the Pro 3 because they wanted they want single heads now.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's I mean, we want to sell stuff here, of course, but it's kind of promoting your brand, because there's people, believe it or not, who don't know who Barudan is.
Yeah.
And but they want to get into embroidery, and it gives them a chance to meet us, who their salespeople are, who their technicians are, and I think it goes a long way toward them starting to feel more comfortable, to get rid of that intimidation factor, to get into embroidery. Once we show them, it's not that hard. The machine. I mean, you guys know this. We start the machines, and we don't sit there and watch them. We talk to people. They do their own thing.
Yeah. Which, that was kind of what I was trying to reiterate to people is, once you learn the automat, that's a little intimidating. The machine does what it does. I mean, you don't have to sit and babysit it. It's kind of...
If you have to babysit it, then you may have the wrong machine.
Wrong.
Yeah, correct, yeah. And it's good to hear, you guys being here at the booth too, seeing, people in the South, this will be who your technician is, and, putting a name to a face, and,
Exactly.
oh yeah, I've heard of Scott, I've heard of John. It's, that face-to-face interaction, I think, is key.
I will say that, I did get a couple of invites to come out to, like, South Dakota to install some machines. If I buy a machine, will you be the one to install it?
South Dakota, Iowa.
I've got one for Colorado.
Yeah.
Yep. So people are actually flying out. It's crazy how far they're flying in to come see all this equipment.
Yeah.
It's the NASCAR museum.
It's what it is.
This is the
NASCAR.
second
They're
stop.
like, let's go see that redneck stuff where they go
Before
around in
lunch.
circles making left turns.
Before lunch, we're going to go see what Dale been doing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Dale number 3.
Done.
Yep.
That old red and black goes fast.
So, but no, it's one of those that if you do see a
red
technician
and
that you like, whether it's online or meet them in person, stuff like that, that you trust, you can request for them. Now, availability, again, Scott and I, we control the Southeast, so to speak, as far as all the Barudan installations and stuff like that, so we stay extremely busy. So you may be able to get us, may not, all depends, but we will do what we can to accommodate everybody's needs.
Yeah, that's and that is good too, to see that, like, a lot of people did ask, is there support for machines? Something happens, and bottom line, we have technicians all over.
And phone support, technicians, online support. We're getting more videos out there too, more YouTube videos, and I like to get John more involved in that, just because he's got a really pretty face and people like looking at him. But
Scott, how do you feel about that?
I look at him every day.
Yeah, you're like this.
well, you're used to looking at him. We don't get to see him that much, so we think he's handsome.
Oh, the jokes there.
There's a joke, and we'll just say it offline.
Yeah, we'll leave that
we'll hold
Traveling,
that one offline.
This is a
sharing
family
hotel
show.
rooms. It's like,
You've seen
there's
more
a
than
lot
you
of
want to
jokes
see.
there.
What was I going to say? I don't know.
One thing I did want to finish up with on that is, definitely the support line of it all. That's the number one thing that, as I was talking with individuals, they were going, where would I find help?
Yes, yeah.
And, again, with the Barudan Owners Group on Facebook, our tech support line that you can call in on the weekdays from 9 to 5 Eastern, even your actual technicians, if you call or text them, they're going to respond. It may take, about, a day or two to get back from tech support or something like that, because if you call on a Saturday, they're not open. But if you text, send a message to your tech, you'll want to get a response from them that weekend. Something simple, or they'll say, hey, we'll talk again on Monday, but you'll hear back from them in some form or fashion.
And a lot of the techs are monitoring the Barudan Owners Group.
Yeah, yep.
So you got Michael Waltrip out in California that's very active on it, and so you
he's
have
great with Design File
this
Server.
3-hour time frame, and then John monitors it. I watch it. John monitors. I watch it.
That's what I do. I watch from
just
afar.
We had somebody post something yesterday, and I'm like, posted, Scott was awesome, and I'm like,
oh yeah, I'm like,
who is this?
Yeah, you better be careful what you do and say.
That name is Terry, so shout out to Miss Terry for saying Scott is awesome. He needs all the yes. Thank you, Miss Terry.
And then I
made his
did
day.
check the profile. Oh, okay, I remember.
Yeah.
It's that age thing too. It's like I look at people now and I'm like,
how many people have you met? Not yesterday.
Ever?
Just in your
geez.
embroidery life. How many people have you met?
thousands.
How many
That's
people
all
does
you got to say.
McDonald's
It's just
serve?
like, good
Yeah.
gosh.
And I'm processing the Rolodex in my brain, going, yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, the fun question I have, Brandon and Bob, is with y'all being the sales team and stuff like that, and you're out meeting the people. You know which company you're going to, but sometimes do you ever walk into a company and someone goes, "Hey, how are you?" And you're going, "Oh, hi, how are you?" Yeah, I do not.
Are you kidding me? I do that with him.
Yeah, but it happens so many times, and it's one of those I feel like I don't want to insult somebody, but I'm like, I'm
you see so
sorry.
many people. It's
just,
like
I got your face, the name. I need the name, please.
Well, there was a guy here yesterday that used to do some tech work for us. He's in the embroidery business now, and I cannot never remember his name. He comes up, shakes my hand. "Hey, Bob, how you doing?" When talking like you knew me, and I do know him. And I'm so he didn't have his badge on.
Yeah.
And I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, oh, I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
And then somebody else said his name, and it hit me. Oh, I know who he is.
And you're talking to them, and you're kind of doing the
Yeah.
Yeah, like trying to
Well, a lot
glance
of
at the
times,
badge.
too.
flip the badge over.
They don't have their badge turned around.
How are you, Kev?
Well, it's like, for me, I don't
remember me, do you?
I'm not special enough to have the layers. So mine's connected down here at my waistline, like so many other people. I might need one, but it's connected down at our waistline. You don't want to be like, "So what's your name again?" You know, looking down at their waistline, like,
Why not?
Professionalism.
Moving on.
Professionalism.
Well, another thing too, if you've been here a long time, I've changed people that you've worked with for 25 or 26, 28 years, and you hadn't seen them in a long time.
Yeah.
And I've seen people like I didn't recognize who they were.
Yeah.
I had hair when I started in this industry.
Well, you were hanging on. You were hanging on to
yeah,
hair.
it was.
Yeah.
I had a wisp of hair.
Yeah.
Now I've given up.
Well, it's okay. You know, you have to realize play to your strengths, as
Yeah.
they say. Yeah, but I think it's been a good show. I didn't really know what to expect as far as, the crowd busyness level, but I think it's been really good. I think today will be pretty packed,
Yeah.
being a Saturday.
Being Saturday. We hope so.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see what's going to happen when y'all let me crack open a machine and
Oh, we're doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
do the hook timing little tutorial.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you put it back together.
No
we don't
promises.
care.
No
Just
prob-
don't
no.
crack it open and leave the cracks on the floor.
I was actually going to get Sarah to do everything, and I was going to educate, just walk her along. Just have Sarah turn the screwdriver and stuff like that.
That might be great.
I don't know. Bob's not feeling he didn't like
You
he was
got
feeling
eggs.
that one.
I will tell you this. I'll stick up for her and Jamie back in our office, the national headquarters in Artsville.
AKA studio.
We had a machine delivered to Single Head.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I was
yeah.
out of town, and it wasn't supposed to get there because it was before you started. And Jamie calls me, and she's all flustered. That machine's here. The machine's here. What am I supposed to do? Because we don't have a door big enough to get a crated machine in. It's a 36-inch door. I'm like, I don't know, Jamie. I said, see if they can bring it back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll get it uncrated. So she said, okay. So I didn't hear from her for like 3 hours. And she calls me back. And she said, guess what we did? I'm like, I don't. Do I want to know? She said, we uncrated that machine. I'm like, there's no way that you and Sarah picked up a Pro 3 and put it on a cart. She said, no. She said, I had my husband come, and she and Sarah got on one side, and Wade got on the other side and put it on a cart. I said, well, how'd you get it out of the crate? She said, one of those wrenches with the little, what do you call it? A socket? Yeah. They took every bolt screw out of that crate with a socket. I've done that. I'm sure you have
Oh,
too.
Yeah, that's a time-consuming process.
But so don't sell these girls short. No,
Yeah.
Don't sell Sarah short. They got it because they, you can't leave it outside. Someone will
You
steal
give
it.
them a problem, they're going to solve
They're
it.
gonna solve it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Check out that beat.
That's right. While the DJ revolves it. Yeah. Scott said no. Scott just said
It's like, please
no.
don't.
Yeah.
Copyright.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna do. I guess spoiler alert. We're gonna do some sort of tech videos, hook timing, oiling points, and
Somebody wanted
What else? Setting your needle depth.
needle
Right?
depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they got to understand that we'll be explaining you have to have the gauge
Yeah,
that you
yes.
get from, shopbarudan.com.
Yeah. Nice plug.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're pretty good at this.
I could be.
Yeah. Well,
You may have
let's
a
not get
future.
cocky
You
because
may have a
this will be
future
your
in
last.
this industry.
Only if you teach me.
Yeah, and also, just everybody that does watch or listen, there is a running game that anytime Bobbin, Take Up Lever Stone says, I've been doing this a long time, you take a shot. He says it 7 times an episode.
It ain't gonna happen.
So,
You just skunked it.
no, it'll happen. Let's see, anything else we need to touch on?
I can't believe you just called him that.
Oh, that's his name.
No.
Yeah, It definitely is. It was
It is
destiny. Yeah, he was born to be in this industry. Yeah, we just want to do a brief little recap. Anything you guys want to touch on, or you good?
I'm good.
Scott's
No,
good.
it's good. It's good to see Scott and John. I don't see him. The last time I saw Scott was in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yep.
You and Phil Hooks and me went to dinner. You were doing it. You were doing some tech work or install?
I
out
was
there or something?
doing, I was doing an install of the demo machine out of the Archdale office when we could.
Oh, that's
when
the
we
one I
hadn't-
took. I took it out there.
Yeah,
that's
you took
right.
it out, and then I
Yeah.
installed it.
I forgot about
No.
that. Phil and I took it out there, and we met you for dinner. That's the last time I saw you.
Yeah.
That's been 2 years ago.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
I talk to him on the phone every now and then,
Yeah.
but I don't get to see him.
Yeah, it's the first time I've met you face to face.
Yeah.
We've talked many
We
times
talked,
on the phone.
and
Yeah.
you've been in Atlanta, and I'm like, I'm not over that side of
Yeah,
the field.
yeah. It's I never expect. I ran into him at World
World
Emblem
Emblem,
doing that 15 head
It's
install.
nice,
Yeah.
beautiful, easy to install 15 head.
Every time.
Thank
every
you,
time he
people, for
calls.
threading your machines for us, especially 15 heads.
Oh yeah. Let's take a moment to say, if you do get your machine uncrated, moved into its location, please thread it. Would that be helpful to
Saves
you?
on all times of training. You get so much extra time to train and learn how to use that machine.
I have another
It's worth it.
request.
Okay, Scott's
If
got a
you call
request.
for service, love it. But when we get there, and there's only one cone of thread on the machine,
Oh yeah, that's good.
I don't mind threading it. Just realize I'm going to be charging you the whole time I'm threading the machine.
Yeah, which you should be. Yeah. All right. We'll put a cap on this one. We wanted to, like I said, recap the show and get you guys on here, and hopefully, you guys can always be on via phone call or video.
Yeah.
I know, Scott. You need to be with John.
I need to be with John.
He does not want to do solo.
I need
so-
my marine protection.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, we all do. But
That's fine.
yeah,
What
We're-
if we brought you a teddy bear? Would that work? It look like John?
yeah, yes. He perked up.
He's thinking about it.
Yeah, your relationship together is just—it's magical.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
No, we don't have that.
I don't have that kind of love. do you?
No.
Me either. Not at all.
And yet our DNA doesn't match. So
I'm
No,
not so
I'm-
sure ours does.
I've known John since before he went in the Marine Corps.
Oh, I did not know
Yes, yes, we know the family. and,
That's
I
cool.
can top that one.
yeah,
I've changed his diaper.
yeah. I need-
Today,
well,
he had to come wake
depending
me
on
up.
how long Scott and I's relationship continues, I might change his diapers.
Well, he's starting to change mine in a few years.
He's
so.
starting to get a little ripe over here.
I'm like, well, you start off changing diapers and
Boy.
you end up changing.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Well, this conversation went weird.
Yeah.
Well, this is what happens.
It is what
It
happens.
gets off the rails pretty quickly.
Yes, it does.
All right, well, we'll wrap this up, and we got a show to get to momentarily. But thanks, you guys. Thanks, you guys.
Yep.
Thanks to you guys.
Thanks
both
for the
of you
unofficial,
guys.
unofficial invite.
No, there's always an invite. Yeah,
You're always welcome.
Yeah.
And you too, Scott.
absolutely, man. And again, I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. You guys.
And if
are
y'all haven't gone to a show, go
absolute
to a show.
gems.
Yeah.
Get back out there, see what's new. It's
Yep.
great.
Yep.
Absolutely great.
So make sure you go like, subscribe, comment, give us a thumbs up anywhere you listen to your podcast. Episodes drop every other Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on the next show. Namaste.